I review your resumes because I am a corporate recruiter. So, the resume we have up first is a full stack software engineer intern. Now, I do more than tech, but tech right now is terrible, so most of the resumes sent to me are tech. So, for a software engineer intern, for a full stack, we need degree, basic knowledge of the tech stack, so language, library, SQL, cloud. In this case, I'm going to need something that is specifically a little bit more full stack, so like TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and something else. I'm still sick, so if you see random cuts in this video and I forget my words, that's just what happens. I was sick while recording this. We also need the ability to work well with others and take direction and criticism, and that is what every single intern needs. So recruiters have 20 seconds to find what we need. So can I find them in 20 seconds? I might. This person has a 1 in 50, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview, and a 1 in 50, which is for every 50 applications you get one interview, is pretty solid. It's like a C minus, right? Like it barely passes, but it does pass, and I consider that a pass. So I will probably find what I need. So 20 seconds on the clock and go. Okay, education, don't need coursework. That is fine. Formatting is good. Built in end-to-end real-time using TypeScript, JavaScript, good. Okay, Node.js, good. GraphQL, external, schedule weekly one of the designer, mentor to feedback, clarify requirement, perfection. I love that. Design relational database schemas and implemented SQL and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to go a little bit more because I'm a little sicker than normal, and I'll just finish reading this. And okay, so let me read what they wrote. But yeah, most of this passes, mainly because of this, which is a really, really, really good bullet point. I actually don't think there's anything I could say to change this. If you are an intern, this is exactly how I want you to write it. The problem is, A, I don't need relevant course structure, right? B, I actually am missing some of the basic tenets here. You got a little too complicated. Like, if you have full stack, even if you're looking for a senior role, you need to put JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and TypeScript, but you had TypeScript. Like, the boring basic stuff is what gets you a job. So, this is my latest resume after watching your channel for tips. I'm open to applying to any kind of software engineering internship. I might have to move around the experience depending on the role. Yes. My application interview ratio here is based off my old resume before watching your channel. I've been applying jobs with this resume for the past month. Okay, so we don't know. So, the previous one was mid. This one will probably get better. So, what I would like is, again, JavaScript. Do we even have JavaScript? No. You don't have JavaScript at all. Like, so you might be able to get away with this because you are an intern and you show some of the other stuff, but you need JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Like, that is a core full stack. And this is not, oh, recruiter only can find that. It's like, if you look at job descriptions, which is where I get this stuff on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlesshunter. But if you look at these job descriptions, they're almost always going to say TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Sometimes you can replace TypeScript with another backend language, but they always say JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. From the biggest to the smallest companies, they say JavaScript, HTML, CSS. So I understand that is a basic tenet. That is like saying, that accountants use Excel. But guess what? I have talked to accountants who had struggled to get jobs, and they put on Excel, and they get jobs. This is the same equivalent. That basic, boring, that every single person has done is what gets you an interview. It's not the 20% and the 30%. It's the very basic and boring stuff. And it's not from the recruiter. It's from the hiring manager. So, how we fix this? Delete this, right? Then, I don't know what color I should use for this. Let's use this grayish one. Then this part is fine, but I want you to put in here, right? I want you to put in the JavaScripts, the HTML, the CSS. There's no way I'm typing that out by writing that. So down here is where you put the JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Then remove the GraphQL and remove the external APIs because the bullet point will be too much, and then put those, then you put the GraphQL and external APIs in another sentence, which you can probably remove this sentence and then put, oh yeah, there's already GraphQL here, and then put the GraphQL there, which you already have, and then here is where we put the external APIs and some stuff. So your bullet points are still a little bit too much. Like an intern does not need 5 bullet points, like unless it's like a PhD or master's level. So most people, you want between 3 and 8 bullet points maximum. Interns, I'm going to say as a general rule, can get away with usually 3 to 4. So crunch that experience down a little bit. Keep this, though. This is the best darn sentence. Any other intern right here, this is the one you want. This is perfection. I don't know what I'm drawing here. That's really good. So we need to add JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Yes, it is that basic. Yes, it is needed. I will fight everybody on this, and this is the hill I will make my last stand on. It is that critical. If you think you do not need it and you are a full stack developer, you are wrong. You need it in your resume. That is, I will make that statement that you are just wrong. You can fight me. I will fight you in the comments. I am correct about this part. This, for an intern, though, fantastic. No notes on the second bullet point. Shrink this down. Remove the relevant coursework. The only reason you would ever want to put relevant coursework is if this was a, like, capstone 401 or 501. I don't know if they still call them that course, which is very rare. But right now you don't want this basic, you don't want this stuff because everybody does it. And I know that sounds counterintuitive considering what I said about JavaScript, but relevant coursework is not relevant. The basic fundamental tools and how you use them is. Again, if you are a master's or PhD and your relevant coursework was in, like, I don't know, NLP, human brain interface, then yes, you would maybe want to put that. But for everybody else, you don't want to. So that's all I can do with this one. But again, I don't think this is a terrible resume. I actually think this is probably a little bit better than a 1 in 50. This is probably going to be a 1 in 30, maybe 1 in 40. But if you make those changes, it'll be like a 1 in 10, 1 in 20, give or take, which is really, really good. So, before we go to the next resume, I just want to thank you all for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. It really helps me out as a small creator. I really can use all the help I can get in that, so please share it with your friends and family. And I also want to thank my members who get access to videos a little bit early. Thank you very much for being a member. I appreciate it. I know money is hard to come by, and you supporting me, it does mean something to me. And if anybody else wants to, the link is in the description below. But now let's go to the next resume. This is a risk analyst credit. So this person gave me these qualification lists because I had problem finding the particular job that they wanted. So these are based on their assumption of this, which hopefully is correct. Once you all learn how to find the correct qualifications, you actually should have more accuracy in it than me, since you are closer to the individual industry and I cannot be in every industry. So what we need is degree, Excel. I'm going to add advanced to that. Usually when they want you to have Excel, they want you to have advanced Excel for this type of role. If you're like, let's say, secretarial role or admin assistant, you don't need advanced as much, but for this type, they usually ask advanced. So Python, Tableau, Power BI, SQL, analyzing credit data, financial statements, credit reports to evaluate the risk of potential borrowers, preparing reports and recommendations to approve, deny credit applications. So this person wrote, I'm applying to credit risk analyst jobs. Since I have sent 3 to 4 of my versions of my resume to you, I am using the most recent one. And it has been more than 3 months before I got a response. Unfortunately, I am quite backlogged. We are now reviewing things that were sent to me, I think, in the very beginning of December. Let's see. I haven't applied with this resume. I haven't seen a lot of content of what kind of keyword qualifications, but I wanted to see how my resume would line. Just a note, I'm not applying for credit analyst roles. Okay, that was what I got the first time, and it was wrong, as that is something different. I'm applying to credit risk. So they know they're going to change the format, which, by the way, this is the format you want on your resume. The link is in the description below. So they already know that, so I'm not going to talk about formatting. But you want to get the content. So 20 seconds on the clock based on what you wrote, which I believe hopefully is accurate. And let me look at this list again, because this is not a role I've done before, so I have to memorize it. It's not fair if I don't know it. And go. Okay, so formatting, analyzing unrealized loss across banks using Python and SQL. Okay, good. To identify banks at the highest capital. Analyze finding the VP. That's kind of built risk dashboard with upload pubs, but Excel. Where's Excel? You literally mentioned Excel. You know, more. Okay, so this is hard to read. My problem with this is you don't even show me the stuff on your list. When was this one sent to me, by the way? I actually don't know. Okay. This was on the 29th. Okay. Ooh. So your problem is like, where is Excel? You yourself mentioned Excel, right? I don't see it. Did I miss it? Was it my sick brain? No. All the way down here is your first one, right? All the way down here at the bottom. This needs to be higher up. And then here, my problem with this is there are an awful lot of numbers in this resume. From what I know, and again, you gave me the list for this, so there's a probability that I am incorrect here. But even though you are in this type of industry, you still don't want the numbers. The only types of people that want numbers, not counting dates of employment, everybody needs those, is sales and managers. Even if you're an accountant, if you're a risk analyst, if you're a data analyst, you don't want numbers in your resume. They hold you back. Because what does it mean that you analyzed 414 billion unrealized losses across 4,300 banks? What is that number? I have no context. Now, you can say analyzed unrealized losses across U.S. banks using Python, SQL, and X, right? Like, where's the Excel? I need Excel here. You yourself stated it, and I don't have it until all the way at the bottom. To identify banks at the highest capital shortfall risk. What is a highest capital shortfall risk? Why is that important? I don't know. You did not tell me. Coordinated with American Bankers Association. All right, why does that matter? To present findings to VP. Like, why does it matter that you met with them? Now, presenting findings to VP and senior economists is probably good, and honestly what I should add to this, and again I cannot confirm this, is just my best educated guess, is that you need to show that you can influence stakeholders and you can present complex information to non-technical people. So that is actually something that you want to show, but you didn't show me the result of that. Like, anybody can send an email to VPs. They don't care that you sent an email to VPs, which is what it sounds like you did. They care that you influence them. By this case, change your mind. Your job is not to send an email. Your job is to say, hey, based on this data, which we don't care what the data is, but based on the data, this is what you need to do. And they changed their mind, and you did not show me that. So your first sentence, as far as I can tell, based on your own qualification list, only has Python and SQL, which I need more. Built mortgage risk dashboards. Okay, using what? This is where you put Tableau. Okay, there you go, Tableau. But you already mentioned Python up top, so you don't need to mention it again. So what you let me show you all what you want to do on this, just to be clear. You never want to mention the same keyword, right, in the same job. So those are bad, right? But you do want to mention it in different jobs, because that's how you show years of experience. So mentioning Python in those places highlighted in green is good. Mentioning Python here is bad because you already mentioned it up above. So that's the rule for it. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to do that, unfortunately, but that is the goal. You should still strive for it. Integrating data. Why do I care that you integrated this data across U.S. countries? None of that is relevant. Used by lenders to concert. Well, why is this? Nothing in here is relevant besides Tableau. I do like Tableau, but nothing else. So we need to make a better sentence with this one. Built credit risk indexes. Is that something we need to do? Maybe. Using Python. Again, you already mentioned Python. A SQL. You already mentioned SQL. Integrating 25 years does not matter with indicators. But why? Like, you're not... Nothing here is good. Your only sentence that is okay is your first sentence, right? And that's only because it mentions Python and SQL, and it could be better. You just need to expand upon presenting the findings. So part of your problem is you don't use your own keywords, which admittedly maybe this was submitted to me after you found them, but your sentences are not good because there's nothing here. To enable tax revenue in highest scenario for upcoming budget cut. What do you mean enable? Like, you need to talk to me like I'm an idiot. All right. Like, I am telling you right now, I am sick. The hiring managers, not just the recruiters, may be sick. They may be distracted. They may be non-technical. They may be working multiple roles. You need to treat us like idiots in the resume. And this doesn't. What is this? Why is it important that you assessed natural hazard exposure? I don't know. You did not tell me. Why is it important that you identified banks at the capital shortfall risks? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Because you know what you didn't mention? Not once did I see the word borrower. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. There it is. Borrow income. But low income, borrow income. Okay, so this is actually the only part that's relevant. Like, you need to treat me like an idiot, all right? And I am serious about that. You need your resume to be written that a 8-year-old could understand. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not using a metaphor. I'm saying if your resume is understandable, not just the keywords. I'm saying, like, how you did it and the reason and result of you doing it by an 8-year-old, and they can understand it based on the context clues within your own resume, you have created a fantastic resume. That is the goal. That is the goal for everybody. When I wrote resumes for myself, and when I'm telling them for other recruiters that get them jobs, I tell them the same thing, even though we are in the same industry. You need to write your resume for a toddler. Because right now, the only things that I see are Python and SQL, which is at least good, and low-income borrower. But I missed it because there's so much unrelated stuff in your resume. So those are the things that you need to fix, is you wrote this for an audience that does not exist. Next, resume. This is a full-stack developer. So what we need for a full-stack developer that is not an intern, because interns have different qualifications than non-interns, is degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. See, that's a callback. React or React.js, Node.js, Angular, Next.js. SQL or NoSQL. Honestly, you could probably have MySQL as well, but I think SQL or NoSQL and MongoDB are the more common ones. But really, I think any SQL would be okay. RESTful APIs or REST APIs, but you notice it's not just API, it's RESTful APIs or REST APIs. Cloud, any of them work. Although if you do use GCP, you need to spell it out as Google Cloud Platform, and then in parentheses put GCP. And if you use Azure or AWS, you just want to say Azure, AWS, or GCP alone. You don't want to put like Azure Spark or AWS S3 because they may not fully understand it. CI/CD, Git, .NET or Python or Java, or probably C#, but it's just rarer. And then a bonus point for any of those. So this is a terrible resume. This is 150 to 1. I imagine this is their updated one, but let me see what is wrong with it. So 20 seconds on the clock. My voice is sounding like it's going through puberty again. And go. All right. Don't need this. Authorized word. This is good. This is bad. Design a full stack architecture, automated building platform using Superbase, don't care. TypeScript, good. React.js, don't care as much. It's nice. QuickBooks, don't care. Streamline flows, the part of it. Built-in AI-powered waste bill using React, good. Why does everybody care about Supabase? Python, AWS, there you go, you messed it up. And declined. All right, so as an international student, okay, so just to let everybody know, after people use my advice, they usually go to a 1 in 7. Right, that's usually about what they get is 1 interview per 7 applications. I will say for internationals, it's about a 1 in 30 to a 1 in 100. As an international, anything below 1 in 100 is good. It's that much harder based on a lot of factors that are beyond your control. But for non-internationals, a 1 in 7 is what happened when people follow my advice. So currently on an F1 visa, I have a current internship at a sustainability startup, but I'm hoping to land a full-time job. I've been using your resume template. This is sort of it for the past month. Haven't had any luck yet. Would love to hear your feedback and approve. Thank you for everything you do. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad to help. So remember, this is the way you want to format your resume. The issue is none of the formatting matters, not mine or anybody else's, if you don't have the right bullet points. And unfortunately, you show that you don't have all the right bullet points. So here is what we need to do. So when you create this part of the summary, right? Here's what you don't need to do. I'm gonna try this, see if this works. So you don't need to write summary, right? You don't even need to write summary. That can be deleted. Software developer with the cloud experience, don't care. This can be deleted, right? Delete, 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 delete. This, on the other hand, is something you want to say. Authorized to work in the United States for 3 years under F1 STEM OPT, but you do want to state without sponsorship, right? Like this is the key thing about a STEM OPT, is that you don't necessarily need the sponsorship. You will want it. I want to be clear. You're going to want it, but you do want to state that you don't need sponsorship for it. Not that you don't need sponsorship, but you know what I mean. The company doesn't have to do the normal hoops, because for an H-1B, even before the Trump changes, which made it harder, it cost a company about $7,500 extra, give or take, for an H-1B. Also, you never want to say open to nationwide relocation. That's always a bit of a red flag. You always, always, always want to say, if you're relocating, moving to X by Y date can move earlier. Otherwise, they will reject them off top. So this is what it should say, although you need to, obviously left justify it. And then if you're outside of the state, you want to say moving to X by Y date. You can just put it after this one. That's fine. And then we go down to here. You already, I don't know why that's, okay, I assume that is going to be fixed. So you already state that you have a MS in computer science. If you have an MS in computer science and a BS in computer science, you don't need to put the BS. The only reason you want to put the lower grade of education is if it's something your master's is not in. So if your master's is in computer science and your bachelor's is in physics, then you want to keep it. But if both of them are the same, you only keep the highest one. So obviously you're going to shrink these down, but already you notice this makes it easier to read. So now we go down here. Why do you keep saying Supabase? I don't think I've seen that in like almost any job descriptions. Like I'm sure there's one or two, but you're focusing so heavily on Supabase that it's not good. So no, none of this Supabase stuff. I don't know why. We're not Nicki Minaj. So design the full software. Did you mean to say full stack software architecture? That's fine. And then you want to say in TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You're not going to get a full stack job without that. There's no JavaScript in this whole one. Where's HTML? There's no HTML. There's no CSS. So that's immediately the problem. Your first sentence should be designed the full stack software architecture using, in fact, I don't even like that, designed our X app, or here it is. Okay. Designed an automated billing platform using, right? So again, you don't need to say all of this. You can just say designed an automated billing platform There we go. Oh, cancel that, the wrong one. Whatever. Design the automated building platform using TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PostgreSQL, and RESTful APIs, or REST APIs. That should be your first sentence, which streamlined workflows and reduced invoice prep time. That part's fine. So that should be it. That should be your first sentence. And then you put React.js and the other stuff in the second one. So then we go down here, right? Again, you repeated the same. Why do you care so much about Superbase? Is that like so rare that I've ever seen that? Then Python you keep. Built-in AI powered is good. AWS, again, you don't want to see Textract or Lambda. You just want to say AWS. And since you already said it, you can remove this. And OpenAI. OpenAI is good. I remove the and. You want to keep the and. To digitize build with OCR, RAG retrieval, and few shot prompting, which removed most of the manual entry. That's fine. So again, you just need a little bit more and you have a bunch of extraneous stuff. Introduced AI assistant code review and GitHub Actions. Perfect, good. And contracted ETL. I don't think anything here is needed. So again, this is the stuff that's actually needed. Oop, caught a little bit above that by mistake. That is what's needed. You have so much junk in here that we don't care, right? Remember, I don't care too much about the Superbase. If that's that AI, I'm assuming that's one of the new AI ones. If so, it's not one that's common. It's a Postgres development platform, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they don't put that. They don't know what that is. That's too technical. So you overdid it on your bullet points. You thought they knew more technical stuff than they do. And again, I'm including the hiring manager. Like, everybody thinks that, like, oh, it's just Lee does this for recruiters. No, I do this for the hiring manager. You know, the hiring manager, the one most likely to reject you because you did not put JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. They're the ones that are going to do it, not the recruiter. Like, even a technical one. It's really, really, that's actually the thing that really upsets me the most. I was like, oh, you're just saying it. No, I'm saying it for the hiring manager. The hiring manager is the one that's doing it, not the recruiter. So fix this stuff in your resume, right? Remove the unnecessary stuff. Add JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. My goodness, you need that. That is a hill I will fight on. You need that in your resume. The amount of people that fail to get jobs because they don't put the basic stuff is insane. Accountants need to put Excel. Customer service people need to put email stuff. Full stack software developers need to put JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. It is critical to have in your resume. If you don't have it, you're going to get rejected. So that is the problems with your resume. You have too much extraneous stuff. You keep mentioning Superbase. You don't say JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And you don't show that you are moving to a location or you're already in a location. And obviously the fact that you are on an international is going to lower your chances. But even with that, you should still be getting at least 1 in 30 to 1 in 100. Next resume. This is a GRC analyst. Well, they said GRC, but the only ones that I could find were GRC analysts, so I hope that is the same. This is the second version of their resume, and they said, well, they left me like a large amount of text for this, which is good. I'd always prefer more than less, which I will look at after I review it. So they say this is a 1 in 50, which again is good. That is a C-, which could it be better? Yes, but it does pass. So for a GRC analyst, we need GRC, security compliance, SOC or ISO or HIPAA, cloud and its certs, AI governance, cross-functional NIST, SIS, SCIS, audit, Microsoft tools, so Excel, SharePoint, and Word. Again, even people that are GRC analysts need Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Navigating documentation and speaking to non-technical teams and stakeholders. You may want to also add influencing them as well, but those sort of go hand in hand. So I'm expecting I should find enough to move them forward, but there's still plenty that is wrong. So let's go and start. Okay, so it's good. Okay, where's your education? Okay, got it. Translated to practical IT solutions. We'll keep. Okay, good. NST, ISO mapped control design. Okay, good. Community stakeholders. Requirements plain English. Good. Solid. Is there something I'm missing here? I don't actually know. Saw most of it. Yeah, I'm missing some stuff like Excel. Maybe you put Microsoft tools. Yeah. I'm missing some Excel. I think these sentences are, again, they pass, but there are ways to make it a little bit better, which I will explain. But let me read what they wrote, which is quite a lot. This is a second resume. This one is tailored to your template. The one I sent before is one I've been using. I will be trying your template next week or so see if my ratio improved. I think currently I'm closer to 50-1. Okay. I don't have a college degree. Okay, that is going to hurt, but you got to work with what you can. I only have experience in a handful of relevant certs. I'm currently a contractor for a confidential client, and all I'm allowed to say is that they're a Fortune 500 tool manufacturer. Not sure if I should write that or just leave it as confidential. So there is... you wrote it correctly. When you're writing something that is for confidential, you don't want to put you can't just use that as a get out of jail free card, but you wrote it correctly, is that you just describe your duties in a broad enough detail that they don't know enough about who the company is. So that's fine. You did it fine. My experience is in manufacturing. I'm not currently targeting a specific industry. My contract will expire at the end of this year, and I'm trying to find something. I've been applying since I got my CISA cert. Really hoping to keep my job gap small. As long as your job gap is under 2 years, you're fine. Candidates freak out about the job gap, and there's always going to be people that care about that, but it's really not as much as you think. Unless it's over 2 years, then it's a problem. So here's some things that I would like you to change. Again, this is not terrible. It's not terrible, but there are ways to fix it. So you have all your certs up here. This is fine. I want to know more about what the company did here, and I know you're under an NDA, but you can still tell us, right? You can say something like government think tank or in the X industry. I still would like to know a little bit about the industry. That is something I would like to know. And a little bit more about the importance of what you did with this. So again, you don't need to tell me oh, you worked at X company. You just need to say translated our weapons governance policies and procedures into practical IT solutions for our stakeholders while keeping proper documentation, right? That would be fine. That is a good overview. Then this, NIST, good. CIS, I don't see, but I do see ISO. And you did it correctly. If you have ISO, you want to put the numbers. So this is really good. I love this. Good. Entity map to control design and procedures using some controls. This is still a little too technical, though. I want you to... I don't want you to remove the stuff. I just want you to, again, I need to know a little bit more about the what. The reason or result of this. You don't have to tell me the exact stuff, but why did you do that? I don't know. Communicated with stakeholders by translating requirements in plain English. Honestly, I think you should put that up here, and I think you should combine these sentences because you've only been there for 2 years, give or take. 2.5, 2, 4, 3. You don't need this many bullet points. Usually you only want 8 if you've been there for 10 years. So I would combine these two, right? Move that up there and combine them. Least truly defined access, use curve, VLAN. I don't think anything in this sentence in particular is necessary. So I think you can safely delete this. GDPR and when dealing with EU manufacturing. Again, I want a little more detail. IT and IoT you already mentioned, so there's nothing here that I need because you already mentioned it. Again, I think you already mentioned it. So I need to know the reason and result of you doing this. And a lot of these bullet points can be shrunken or combined into other ones. Again, you already mentioned this. Where is the cloud? I actually don't see any cloud. Where is the audits? Where is the Microsoft Office tools? Where is the navigating documentation? I don't really see that. And I also want you to be a little more clear with the speaking to non-technical stakeholders. So, is this an awful rejected resume? No, I think this does pass, but, I think it could be better. I think we can make it from a 1 in 50 to a 1 in 20 or a 1 in 10. So, I need you to, and the big sin of this, again, is not just that it's too long, is that you don't describe the importance of what you did. Now, again, it's confidential, so I'm not asking you to tell me everything. I'm just saying, what was the point of it internally? Like, was it to ease stakeholders? Was it to ease communication? Was it, why was it important that you dealt with EU sites? Like, you can tell me these things and still keep it confidential. And then, honestly, you'll probably need a 4th bullet point, because after you do this, it'll only be 4. Actually 3, which, you could even get away with doing 3. I would say for this one, 3 to 5. And then down here, yeah, there's some good stuff there. So that's all I can do for this one. But again, if this does pass, it's just barely, so you want to do some stuff to make it better. Next, resume. This is a vendor manager. So what we need for vendor manager is vendor management, just the words. Contracts, I know that's like a singular word, but I don't want to just see contracts. I want to see like how you did the contracts, the reason or result of the contracts. So I need a lot about contracts. That was in a ton of them. Due diligence, stakeholder management, and influencing stakeholders. So are those different? But quite frankly, you're probably going to want both of how you interacted with stakeholders, how you helped them, how you perform customer service, and how you influenced them and told them, hey, don't do X, do Y, and they followed you. Industry, I am going to need your individual industry. Again, there are too many industries for me to put in. So as long as I can tell what industry you're in, I'm going to count that as a success. And Microsoft Office, so Excel, pivot tables, and complex formulas for the Excel. My hair is caught in my glasses. So can I find what I need in 20 seconds? This person has a 1 in 100, so probably can find 1 or 2 things, but not enough. That does mean there is something critically wrong with the resume, but usually it's not a teardown. Usually. And oh man, I'm seeing this out of the corner of my eye. This looks hideous. All right. So, which again, I just care that I can find it, but this is such a nightmare. And go. All right. What does this mean? MBA with 13 years experience. Okay, can't use any of that. Where's your degree? Education. Okay, good. Increase vendor onboarding speed and cut escalation. I don't care about that. Manage 350 annual spend across while Amazon. Don't care about that. Reduce contract compliance violations. Good. I don't care about that, but I do care about the rest of it. Okay. So there's 1 good sentence, 1.5 in that. This would be definitely a rejection, but this is actually a pretty good sentence, with the exception of the 25% year over year. I actually really like this sentence. I think it is written correctly. So this one is good. The rest of them are bad. What did you write? All right. Laid off, need a job ASAP. Okay. That is fair. So there's a lot wrong with this resume. A, your formatting is awful. You need to use this. B, stop bolding everything. Like every person like that does this makes it worse. You don't need all this bolding. The only thing that should be bolded, is this, and this. And if you have a project section, you did the project. Nothing else in your entire resume should be bolded. So, the first thing that I'm confused about is, okay, so this is so weird formatting, I actually missed that. So never, ever, 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 ever put open to reload. That is a giant red flag. This is where you need to put under here, put moving to X by Y date, can move earlier if needed. Otherwise, you are going to get rejected. So never do that. U.S. work authorization without sponsorship. What does that mean? What kind of authorization? What? I don't know what that is. You need to tell me, or don't tell me, if anything, and let me know in the phone call. But I don't know what you mean by U.S. work authorization without sponsorship. Is this a OPT? Because they're all very different, bro. And then here, No summaries matter. Summaries should never, you should never have this nothing here matters. Because remember, a qualification, which I don't think I've gone over this video, is a keyword, which is up here, plus how you did it, plus the reason or result of you doing it, plus where you did it. And you can't get any of those through a summary. So this doesn't count. If they are these good bullet points, then they should be under the projects down here. Sorry. So here, increased vendor onboarding speed by 30% and cut vendor escalation by establishing. This means nothing. I don't know what anything you said here, and it is completely irrelevant. So this sentence can go. Manage 350 million spend. You may want the actual percentages because this is kind of in the manager one. So I'm okay with this number because they would like to know the bullet. Here, let me tell you what a good number is, right? This tells me your budget size, right? Managed a 350 million spend. That's good. They like it. They want to know that. But cutting onboarding speed by 33% is irrelevant, and vendor escalations by 40%. Because what if they want you to cut it by 50%? Cool, you already failed. But a 3-year vendor management strategy is good. But I don't care about 40 leaders. So these are the numbers that actually matter, and these are the numbers that don't. Green is good, red is bad. Then we go down to here, and you shouldn't bold it, but I actually like this because it gives me the context. So this one is good. This sentence is pretty good. Reduced contract compliance violations, good, by building a 3-tier vendor government model with spend, risk, performance. Good, perfect. So if you're noticing, the problem is like, where is your Excel? Where is your Excel? All the way at the bottom. No one's going to pay attention to that. No one's going to see it. That doesn't matter there. You need to put it up. Where is, you've done a couple of cuts about contracts, so I like that. Where's stakeholder? All the way at the bottom. I think some of these you can count as stakeholders, but I would like them earlier. So again, you don't tell me what I need, right? Like you fill it with a bunch of junk. Like, why do I care that you saved 40 hours monthly? Why does that matter? I don't know. It's not in the job description, so it doesn't matter. Achieved 95% accuracy in quarterly budget guidance? Who cares? That's not relevant. Why is that relevant? You know what I want to know? I want to know that you convinced Bob, the stakeholder, that, hey, your idea is bad. Here's what you should do instead. And they thanked you for it and thought it was good customer service. That's what I want you to see. I want to see that you created a easy to understand technical document using Microsoft Office products such as Excel. And in Excel, it was advanced pivot tables and VLOOKUP to show contracts over a period of time, right? Like you're giving me a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter because you're trying to, it's like going to a date. And in that date, you ask them, hey, tell me about yourself. And they say, I'm a 3-time world championship of arm wrestling. Okay, cool. That's not really relevant. I was really more looking about your background and who you are, but that's a little bit of a tidbit. And then you're like, okay, well, what have you been doing for the last 2 years? And you're like, 5 years ago, I was a League of Legends champion. Like, I need you to be very specific with what you say because this stuff ain't cutting it. And the fact that you have a 1 in 100 in a market that is above average is bad. This is the equivalent of a 1 in 50. I was looking at these, and I will say vendor managers is I don't want to say great market because I don't think that's correct, but a relatively slightly better than average market. So it's not the worst ever. So the fact that you're getting 1 in 100 in a slightly better than average market is bad. You need to change this. You need to change the formatting. And then I need bullet points that are actually relevant. So, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying your accomplishments don't matter, but we had somebody that literally saved lives. We had another person that was a Pulitzer Prize winner. And sadly, that stuff doesn't matter if you're going for a marketing director. I wish it did. So that's all I can do for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. And again, thank you very much for my members. I really do appreciate it. And everybody else liking and commenting these videos, seriously, like I can always use your help sharing this. Share it with your friends and your family, Discord servers, everything. I really, really helps me out. I cannot impress upon you how important it is just hitting the like button and sharing it with your friends. So thank you all very much for everybody for helping. And if you ever need more help, join the live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/endlessheadhunter. And I will see you in the next video.